Okay, now I am calling this meeting to order, 7 p.m., April 13th, Committee of the Whole meeting. Ms. Sully, will you please call the roll?
Jennifer, here. Chris Hamilton,
Here.
Erica Peterson, Jillian Pope, here. John Ruggles,
Here.
Bert Scottrell,
Here.
and Lisa Wilson, here.
Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Item number 4, public comments. Ms. Sully, do we have any public comments? Thank you. Moving on to number 5, addition of information or discussion items. Would anybody like to add any information or discussion items? Okay, moving on, number 6, information and discussion. First up, thank you to Epic for our new cafeteria sound system. Would you like to come up and say something?
Oh, yeah, we like that.
Through our fundraising efforts, this year with Apex and our restaurant fundraisers and Miller Max, we were able to donate $22,575 to fund the projector and sound system in the cafeteria.
Awesome.
Want to get a little pick with
Yeah.
maybe the borders?
Yeah, that's all. That's all good in there. I think we should all get it. Yes. Yeah.
How many fundraising programs get how many grand to the school? It's amazing. This is amazing.
Good luck, everybody.
Jason, get in there. Jason, over there. What else are you taking? No, Lisa, get in.
There's our pay room all the way in the back, that's where I'm going.
All right, we good? One, you want to move? Okay, 1, 2, 3. We do one more just in case. 1, 2, 3. Okay, hold please. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And one more. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you all very much. Oh, thank you.
That's the way to do it. You know,
Roll on the mic.
jump into the.
No, that's what I'm saying.
So last year, Epic's efforts purchased a sound system for the East Gym. Here at the middle school, it was very crackly and all, so very glad that they continue our support to help upgrade our facilities. I was very impressed with the Millburn Madness this year, great location, good turnout, I feel. And so again, thank you for everything you do to help make the school a brighter place for our kids.
Okay, let me add to that, Fred. I every time I see it, it's a lot of times the same people, so if anybody is listening to this, they can always use the help. So please, they just gave us a $22,000 check. So anybody listening or happen to review the recording of this, please reach out to Epic. Try to maybe even get on the board, help out, because obviously they give us a lot of stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anyone else on that item? Okay, Cottonwood Estates Impact Fee Agreement. This is land within our district that is not fully developed, but in case the owner chooses to develop, then they, depending on the size of how a home they build, this would be what they would owe us in property taxes. And just every year as taxes go up, we approve the rate. And that's what it would be for the size house if they choose to develop, and we would just approve that. It's in Ms. Kraft's business report, the numbers, if you want to review them later on. Yeah, we'll go for approval next meeting. Any questions on this? All right. Next, the 1% county sales tax for facilities, school resource officers, and mental health professionals. And I believe Dr. Lind has a presentation for us.
I do.
Again, this is something we've been chatting about for a while. And it's been worked on a lot of the superintendent meetings. And we're looking to put it on for us to approve as a district, and then hopefully other districts will approve. Represents, school districts representing 51% of the student population of Lake County approve it. It will go to the voters as a whole in November.
Do we feel like we're still on target to get the 51% hopefully?
Yes, we are doing just fine. Barrington has passed it, so that's a big unit school district with lots of numbers, so that's very helpful. They were the first to pass it last week, and then there's a bunch of schools who are doing it this week and next week, and the following week, just as the boards come up. Waukegan is gonna be a big one to get on board, and they're looking positive, so that's very positive to at least get on the ballot, and then we'll see what happens from there, so. What I'd like to do is go through a presentation. This is was presented to Lake County administrators on explaining. I've seen the presentation probably 4 times now, and every time I see it, I learn a little bit different or something new about this tax solution. So here we go. Officially, it's called the County School Facility Occupation Tax, or CSFT. It authorizes districts representing a majority of the school, majority of the students in any county other than Cook, to impose a countywide sales tax after a successful referendum for school facility purposes only. And I'm going to talk a little bit more specifics about that. And then I've got a handout too, and I don't know where I put it, but I will get it to you tonight. Just a 1-pager of frequently asked questions, kind of highlights of what this is all about. So this is a map of the counties. The lighter colors are all counties that already have the sales tax. So over 50% of the counties in Illinois already have this passed. The blue ones are where they tried to pass it and have not to this point. The white ones have never had it on the ballot as an option. So we're one of the few who have not at least tried to pass this at this point. This is the sales tax rate currently in Lake County for individual villages. 7 or 8% seems to be the average. This is the amount that if this gets on the ballot, and then if it's passed, Milburn would receive this on a yearly basis, $1.1 million. And that lines up pretty closely to what we were looking at when I presented last fall, and continue to present on our facilities and their needs in the next 10 years. So if we got this, we would not have to raise taxes in order to pay for those not even upgrades, for that maintenance that we need, like the roofs and the parking lots and windows, etc. We would not have to raise taxes to fund that. What can this be used for? So this gets asked a lot, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the accountability piece and why this tax is set up the way it is. It can only be used for facility purposes. There's a couple of other uses as well: security and safety, so access control for buildings. So if we wanted to get key fob access, which we do for our buildings, this would be a way to pay for it. It would pay for mental health professionals like social workers if we chose to. It would pay for a school resource officer if we chose to. It would pay for what else was I going to say? All right, I had something in my mind and then it went out. So
That shared safety officer.
it would pay for the shared safety officer. Yeah, pay for all the things that we talked about in our presentation to help our facilities become more safe. What it does not include is we cannot spend it on buses, we can't spend it on textbooks, operating expenses, instruction salaries, for instructional salaries, administrative salaries. We cannot spend it on that. Any movable equipment, computers, it's for the facilities and for safety.
The way that I would recommend using it, and this can shift over time, and because this would be in perpetuity, we would get this money coming in, which would be great. First of all, our facility needs, that's a high priority that we are already planning on. If this does not pass, increasing local tax dollars because there's no other funding source. Enough, at least enough to pay for that. We get 50,000 a year from the state, but that's not gonna cover that $1 million that we need. Safety and security also. So access control, access to our parking lots, access to our buildings, controlling that access a little better and improving that would be wonderful. And then potentially mental health professionals would be the third option that we could have if there's money available and left over. But those would be the three priorities that I see that this could be used for, and it lines up exactly with what it's intended for.
Jason, over the next few years, really. Because we have projects going on right now,
Yes,
this really is money that we can't spend on anything because it's money that we were putting aside for the project anyway, so we really want this, right?
oh yeah,
You know
Yeah,
what I'm
this
saying?
would-
So it's not like it, over the, as long as we were doing these improvement projects anyway, it's money that we can use for really whatever we need. Correct?
no,
Well, I mean, it needs to fall in these buckets.
If I was gonna spend
Yes.
50 over here,
you're just
and
saying,
now I don't have to spend 50 over here,
no, because
or it doesn't work that way.
it could, I
I mean, if we're
understand.
setting aside this money for projects anyway, and that's less money we have to spend on projects, that's more money we have to spend on our other needs.
I think
Yes.
maybe I'd reframe it as, my understanding correctly, what you were saying before is rather than go to the taxpayers to get the money for all this facility stuff, we can get it here instead.
Right.
So our taxpayers who are gonna potentially pay for this anyway, are gonna
Right.
share that burden with everybody paying tax in Lake County.
And if we need that 10 million for our facilities over the next 5 years, well, instead of taking
We'll
5
need
years
less.
to make the roof, we can maybe get that all done in 3 years.
Right, so this
We don't have
isn't
to wait.
backing us into anything, really, there's no downside to this whatsoever.
Well, the downside is as taxpayers, we pay 1% extra sales tax.
Yeah.
There's a downside to every taxpayer in Lake County, right, of 1% sales tax, right?
Yeah, I'm speaking strictly for Milton.
For Milburn, it's all
As
upside.
As a
Just
school district, no, it's all upside, it's all additional revenue.
I mean, and we're, our hands aren't really tied for any.
And it can also, we don't need to spend it right away. We can, we have a need facilities wise, but if we wanted to wait for a certain amount of time, so we could make a big building upgrade. That is something we could also do.
Even better.
Yeah, it's great. It's very positive, and counties where it's passed, they've seen. It's worked very well and helped school districts like ours a lot. Because we're such a high taxed district, it's really hard, our homeowners are already pretty burdened with property tax. And we don't have a very broad tax base in Milburn. This would certainly broaden that out.
Be a way to spread it out throughout the county.
Yep, it would take a lot of pressure off our local property taxes. What I wanted to clarify, John, what you said is the money that we currently are planning for projects, we don't have nearly enough to do what we need. So we would have to go out and raise taxes in those funds. We don't have, it's not like we can all of a sudden spend it on curriculum materials, for example. It's in capital projects right now, so it's already designated for capital projects, and when that money runs out, which would be soon, it's gone. Then we have to levy more for it.
But we would levy less.
Now, if this passes, we would not levy
Yes.
in that fund for that purpose.
I mean, I'd have to do the math on this, but I have to assume for a Milburn district taxpayer, even if they don't have students in the school. It's still financially better alternative for them to pay the 1% sales tax than for us to levy more taxes to cover these facilities.
Yeah, it's about $400 a year for the average.
Right,
Yeah. I would- 100%.
so I think it's a no-brainer for people who live in the district.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at, this is.
Yes.
$0.
Yep. And to that point, even Lake County taxpayers, if you look at the whole Lake County, 52% of the receipts are from outside of Lake County. So a lot of If you go down Lake Cook Road, for example, Cook County taxes are higher. There's a lot of gas stations right on Lake Cook Road. For us, we're at the Wisconsin border, so we go up to Wisconsin to buy our tax and groceries or our gas and groceries, because it's cheaper, but it's the opposite down on Cook County. Again, purchases that are excluded are some of those things that are necessities and bigger, larger items. Cars and trucks are not included in that, boats and RVs not included. Unprepared food, drugs, farm equipment, farm inputs, services not taxed. So those don't count. Again, we talked about, Fred mentioned this, we have to represent more than 50% of the student enrollment in a county to approve the resolution to get it on the ballot. The resolution, we can pass at the next board meeting. And there's a specific process for that, and we have actually the language that we have to read, the minutes that we have to approve, and then the secretary can approve them that night. Those minutes be put on the regular minutes. It's a little bit wonky and goofy, but we want to make sure that if we approve it, that we do it the right way. Then if school districts representing more than 50% get it on the ballot, then we put it on the ballot in the fall, and then all the voters in Lake County can vote.
If they vote no, how long can you put it on?
We're gonna do the next one.
You can.
Assuming we have to revote for 51% again, right?
Yep.
That's take fresh votes.
Are there serious advocate no groups out
Yes,
there advocating no?
there will be. Yep. This just goes over the ballot language a little bit, which we will have. The actual resolution is multiple pages, so
And then 4 months for it to come.
there's a 4-month delay. I think the timeline is in here somewhere. Yes. I think I'll get into the specifics of the timeline, but this gives you just the process of how it's collected. So every month, the state collects it and it goes to the state. Then they receive it. Is it 4 months in arrears? Maybe it takes 4 months. It goes to the state and then it takes time. And then it goes to the ROE, and then the ROE distributes it back to the school. So eventually it's on a monthly check that we would get from the county, but it takes some time after this is passed for them to start collecting the sales tax. Goes to the state, and then it comes back here. The state does not get the money, but they process it. They process all the sales tax. As a result of that, or in order to do that, they do take a 1% of that money. Just for administration, and the ROE takes 1%. So for every dollar that we would collect under this penny sales tax, we would get 98% of that. Which is great.
So the groups who oppose this would be non-homeowners who don't have kids.
Or
Other than
business,
that, the-
business owners,
Small business owners.
small business owners who live right on the border.
Business owners pay taxes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can use this money to pay debt service. So if we had a bond, let's say we decided now we're going to collect the $10 million. Issue a bond, get $10 million. This, when we started getting it, could go to pay off that debt. Or you can pay as you go, it's cash, and keep it rolling and save up actually. Or you can abate bond and interest tax levies or pay off bonds previously issued. Oh, that's what I just said. Okay. This gets into more details on the bond. So you can save up for big, this is again saying the same thing, you can save up for bigger projects. It doesn't impact our tax cap and our other funds, so in other words. In our current funding, if you levy more in transportation, because our transportation fund is high, that means we have less ability to levy in the ed fund. And O&M, it's all coming from the same pot. This is outside of that, so it doesn't impact our tax cap. The election dates are November 3rd, 2026. That's our general election, and then the next one would be April 6th, then March 21st, 28th, then November 7th would be another general election. Those are the next opportunities coming up to get this on the ballot. This is the timeline I was talking about. So if it passed, we have to have the resolution passed by August, but we want them passed sooner than that to build momentum now, and so we can plan and know how to communicate with our taxpayers about this opportunity. And so it's important to get as many districts as possible to, even though we don't represent a large number of students relative to some other districts, it's important that the number of districts passing it sends a message to that there's support behind it.
Are there groups or entities who are going to take some responsibility for helping inform the public of this as these
Yes.
opposition groups form?
Yeah, so there will be, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about that next. You guys are right on it, good questions. So certified no later than August 26th. The authority posts it on October 23rd, the election's November 3rd. Then if it passes, it files with the Illinois Department of Revenue to enact the tax no later than May 1st of 27, but it can be done sooner than that. Then the tax goes into effect. Oh, I guess it only goes into effect on July 1st, 2027. So if it passes in November, it goes into effect July 1st, and it takes 90 days in order for the regional superintendent to get it after that.
But for our planning purposes, if we need to start spending on these projects, we'll know if we have the option by the election.
That would help tremendously in our planning, for sure.
So
We
we're
would
still
delay some
a year and a half out from.
Still a year.
receiving anything.
Before we get any cash, and then you get that only a month at a time, so it's gonna take a while. That 1.1 million is not gonna see it till FY 20, let's see, it's
June
27, 28, 29. So it's still a ways out, but we could plan, and if we needed to, we could issue a bond. Cover it while we're waiting for that money to come in,
Because it can be paid back.
because it could be paid back. So we are here at the first bullet, districts convening to discuss the concept. District boards vote. Then the regional superintendent certifies, goes to the county, then we have countywide referendum efforts. Pro or con, depending on which side you're on to that, and then the referendum appears on the ballot. Now, the campaigning, to your point. The election code, this is very important, prohibits the use of school district funds or resources to advocate for a CSFT referendum. So once we pass this resolution, we cannot tell people to vote yes or no. You can't use district funds as an individual member of the county, constituent. I can, you can, but as a board member using district funds, you cannot advocate yes or no, just like another referendum, any other referendum.
Funds
will
meaning
commu-
anything, like we can't even send mailers.
No.
Cause that would be, you have to spend money on that.
Well, we can't,
But we
we
can,
can't advocate, yes, we can inform, just we can't tell people to vote yes.
so we will say,
Oh, okay.
if this passes, we're going to get $1.1 million. This is what we're going to use it for.
And we can also inform that if this doesn't pass, the likely outcome is we're gonna levy the those tax dollars in a different way that's more
Be very
painful.
careful about that, but yeah.
Yeah.
The good thing is we've already got evidence, we've already presented that option
Mhm.
before this became a possibility. So we've already said, hey, we need $10 million. We're going to raise taxes one way or another through the health, life, safety bond option or through a referendum. And so that's,
It'd be much better to share that cost with the folks from Cook County driving up here for their gas.
Yeah, I think we would word it the other way, saying, you know, we had anticipated a referendum, but this might be a way we don't have to.
Yeah.
They're saying if we don't do this, we have to do this.
yeah,
This is one way to not have to do what we had planned on doing. You know what I
yes,
mean? It's a subtle difference, but it's a difference.
yep. Again, the Ethics Act restricts the activities of board members during this campaign. Cannot promulgate your position on a referendum while on district property. And or while serving in your capacity, but you can, if in your neighborhood, of course, don't give up your right as a citizen. And you can do it on property. Just speaking to the facts, stick to the facts.
Or we can defer people to you to provide the facts.
You can. Again, when off district property, campaign away. Just don't say in Facebook or whatever you're putting out as a board
As a board
member,
member, right?
don't do that. District employees, similar. We can't use our time and our money during the school day to campaign. We can give facts, we can give out information. And then when we're off the clock, we can post yard signs, be part of a PAC, political action committee, which there will be one. And that's it. Any questions?
Is this a presentation you can share with us also?
Alright. So that'll be on the ballot, or I'm sorry, on the agenda for our next meeting to, for approval or not. Moving on. The Shared Services Director of Student Safety, I don't think it was in this week's, it was in the week before. That Dr. Lynn sent out about the cost breakdown of if we share the cost based on student enrollment versus number of buildings. And they all come in at right around 25 grand per year. And again, this is different from an SRO. This person would kind of liaise between, okay, then when the fire department needs to come in and do their annual walkthrough to make sure we're in compliance with all fire safety standards and things like that. And they would be going to different countywide meetings. And was it 13 or 15 schools? There would be for our
15.
15.
It was gonna be 15, but I do have an
We have
update.
some
Oh, okay.
backing up.
Yep. So some people are backing out of this because either they have an SRO already, or they have somebody on staff that's responsible for this, that's part of their job description. So we don't have that, given the district of our size and the cost of that, so they're less interested in it. Now, I'm trying to find a grant for this, those are hard to come by. I don't know when the federal grant's going to open up. It's called the COPS SVPP grant, School Violence Prevention grant from the federal government. We'll know probably May, June, if that's even a possibility for next year, so that's our next step. If that happens, then all the districts are very interested in this position. If it doesn't happen, we're trying to gauge interest with our boards of my question is, are we willing to spend $25,000-ish for this work. To get done, or this position. What I'm really looking for is somebody to be responsible for helping us develop the emergency management plan. Going through training, because there's constant training, because there's people always coming onto our staff, whether they be substitutes, and we do some training with them, but more specific more specifically focusing on the emergency protocols. Changing our protocols, I would like to go to the model that all districts in Lake County are going to, which is the standard response protocol. So when we walk into every building in the county, that it's all the same, the posters are the same, the language is the same, the responses are the same. There's gonna be different unique pieces to every building, but generally we should understand the language. When police officers come into our building, or fire department comes into the building, they should know this is what to expect in every building. So in order to do that, there has to be a lot of time coordinating that with all the other buildings in our area.
And we think we'd get a sufficient amount of that service out of this shared utility, the shared resource, right?
I don't know.
Did you say $25,000 a year for a number of different schools?
Per school.
Okay, it's
For this.
Or per district.
So this person's not making 25,000.
No.
Making that times
Because
15
you
minus.
pay
whatever
them
the overhead is.
25,000 a year, you're gonna $25,000 a year for.
Well, it's 15 it was 15 buildings,
Mhm.
but so,
Or
we have
13.
2 buildings, so.
Right.
Yeah, if it would have been 15 buildings, they would have, the idea would be visit 3 buildings a day, rotating on if you have a 5-day week. I would probably make it on a 6-day rotation. So because one of those days is bound to be meetings or something. So basically they're in every building every 6 days. They would do accountability checks with the process for people coming into the building, access control. Making sure that they're walking around the buildings to observe any potential hazards, any potential access issues around the building. And then working with staff on training, working with staff on eventually the reunification process, which is a huge time-consuming, complicated process, where I would like them to come in and do tabletop exercises first with the administrative team. Then you do tabletop exercises with your staff. And then you do a walkthrough with staff. Then you do a walkthrough with parents involved. It's just a handful of parents, like a simulation. And that's when it's pretty much done. And that takes a lot of time and coordination, time that I don't have, nor the expertise in that area. I've gone through it 3 times myself, a simulation, and it's so helpful. But for me to organize that and to do it, I can't. I mean, I could, but I just don't have the capacity, so.
Is it safe to assume that this is a year-to-year thing, or are we signing on to some long-term contract?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we talked about that today, actually. We had a meeting with the people who are left.
Okay, the 13 buildings that remained?
No, it's less than that.
Oh,
I think we're down to, let's see. 6.
okay. So does that factor into the 22,000 or 25,000 you estimated, or is that number?
What we would cost this, our cost would be the same, trying to keep it down to 25,000.
Mhm.
The person though would only be part-time.
I see.
Or would we just contract and say, this is what we need? Is there anybody out there that can do this year? And do an RFP? It's so that we're not hiring them, we're not paying benefits, hey, let's try it. We can give you this much money. Kind of like what we did with our audit the last time. We did a safety audit a couple of years ago. Somebody come in and look, and was just costs.
Is my rough math right here, assuming you started with 15 buildings originally and we have two, and we're talking about somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 to 170K for a dedicated resource like this, it sounds like, if you guys were gonna spread one around. So,
Yeah.
if we could get the majority of that benefit for 22 or 25,000 a year, that doesn't seem like that bad of a deal, but. it'd be nice to not
Only
do-
one person though.
Yeah,
Like this, that's what I want. Do we even know who we'll be working with?
Not specifically, but
I
the,
was saying like this person, we would have to hire them.
Yeah,
So this person
right.
doesn't, so right now we would be going into this without even knowing
If there's.
who it is
Right.
and if they're credible or.
yeah. it's
Good at their job,
Creation of the
Person would
position.
have to be vetted, I assume, but I just noticed that it's one person. What if the person gets sick for 2 weeks or goes on maternity leave or any of that stuff? If you got one person. And they're going to, we're only getting once a week as it is.
Yeah, but
They're
realistically,
out for 2 weeks. We don't have anybody for those 2 weeks.
depends on what you want them, what's the purpose of this person? So I'm looking at not protecting the, they're not they're not like a school resource officer where they're gonna be carrying a weapon. And protecting the building. They are overseeing the safety and security processes that are in place and making sure that everybody's doing them consistently. And first of all, that they're in place.
probably a big benefit too, I think you've mentioned this before, standardizing those processes across these districts that are regionally located near each other such that the emergency services have the same protocols when they approach these buildings, right? It's really more of a standardization and creation of policies and procedures than it is an actual physical interaction.
I'm
day
guessing
in,
we
day
can
out.
find a person like that. I mean, a former security person or whatever.
The consulting seems like the easiest way to go about that and test the waters too, right? Do a consulting for a year and.
The people, yeah, I think to get at your question, Lisa. There are people that are doing this out there, so Lake Bluff and Libertyville school districts have a shared person between those two districts.
I mean, if the cost gets up that high, I would rather just split an SRO between two buildings.
But SRO can't physically be protecting two buildings at once, right? It's only in one place.
Right now,
Well,
yeah.
it's like that.
It'd be in- so, 15
Right, but
places.
he's not filling that role. He's just designing the procedures such that we follow them correctly, right?
I know, it seems pretty pricey for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, like,
Yeah,
I'm all about school
Right.
safety, 100%. And we need to make sure that our procedures are up to date. This seems really like a high price tag for, the return. Like, yeah, the training's gonna be important and the walkthroughs are gonna be important, but that's a lot of money, like. Do you have anybody in the district banking $175,000? Other than,
Yeah, but we get the benefit of the output of that position's work without paying for the full-time employee to do it, right? We're getting the work product that's the same, right, without getting a resource that's.
but is it the same?
Well, I don't
Like
know.
one day every
It's
6
not that big.
days?
Accountable and making sure that what they're doing is what they're saying they're doing at each one, and then, I don't know.
Well, I think
there's a lot
that, I mean,
more.
obviously, we'd have to know what those work products are and what the deliverables are, right? There's something we're contracting them to do, right? There's some sort of output we're looking for. I don't know if that's worth $22,000 or not, but,
I don't either, but I'm with you.
I don't think it's worth $150,000.
I think it's worth investigating. I'm with you
Right.
on that.
Right. I'd just be curious what we're getting for that money, to your guys' point. right?
Well, as a comparison. We're not gonna have this person, if we had an SRO person to share between our two buildings. Our layout would be 200,000 a year. They'd be on our campuses, one or the other all the time. And the value added for that person, it's a little bit different role, but we can't afford a $200,000.
No, I was saying shared with a different district,
Yeah,
but
but
that's a
then,
bit, yeah,
then it's even less.
right.
This role actually commands less, and it would be 12 months where SROs are 9 months.
I mean,
If
it
we
seems
could
like we
even-
want you to look into it.
Yes, it
Because they're
doesn't cost us anything for you to keep following up on it.
Yeah.
Already-
Even better if a grant pays for it.
That's what-
Great. Yep, I'll send you the job description of what I'm thinking, and then
Continue investigating and
Yeah.
hopefully people will stay on board and.
this is just the initial conversation, just to kind of.
I mean, I don't wanna downplay the whole thing, but I'm just curious how much of it is security theater versus actual benefit.
Right.
Well, sometimes security theater can be a deterrent.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It can be, just sometimes just posting a sign, beware of dogs will stop a prowler from coming in. It's-
Sure, but we could post that sign for less than $22,000, so, you know.
Well, then, so think about the time of our current administrators, how much time they're currently spending doing it, you know, based on their salary, how many days per year that would work, and essentially then cutting that load off so they can focus on other things.
Yeah, I don't know what that number is, but,
Jason's gonna tell us.
I'd be
Some of the
curious.
work's not getting done, that's the problem.
Right,
So it's on the to-do list constantly and not getting done to the extent that it should be, because it's important, so. We're doing what we can, what we have, but
I feel like in order to
Getting
things
more
I'd be
demand.
okay with, I'd be more okay spending 22,000 than 200,000 for, if it, especially if it's
We can
security
afford it.
theater, right, I'd like to spend less, but.
that's.
I mean, I know that sounds like a big number, but compared to an FTE, that's a pretty low number, right?
Yes.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
I'll send out the
Job description.
job description.
Can we just also just work on the principles? I just need to do the main thing.
What do you think?
Do,
Not making any friends.
we do.
Anything else on the shared services, Director of Student Safety? Okay, number 7, future agenda items. So next meeting we'll have on for approval the impact fees, transfer of interest between funds. As we, you know, the money we're holding in our, as our fund balance, we earn interest on it, we then can pull that interest off and put it to use. Then we'll have the sales tax on there and the budget amendment. Again, and also if you want to see any other items on future agenda, just let myself or Dr. Linda know.
Yes,
Do stuff.
I'd like to see something, we're gonna have to have a discussion sometime eventually, but I don't know if you guys heard about what's going on at Lake Zurich High School, AI stuff. Kids putting heads on porn and sending it out to the schools, a lot of bad stuff was happening at Lake Zurich, and it's coming to a school near you, it's coming, so we're gonna have to figure out.
Well, we do have in our student handbook a code of conduct for online
Right.
behavior.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's getting pretty, read the articles, it's pretty bad, so it's something we're gonna have to address sometime in the future.
When you're thinking about addressing, I'm just curious in general, you thinking about from a policy standpoint or from a procedural standpoint?
I'm thinking about from somehow coming up with some sort of informative way to let the students know, one, that it's out there, and two, that we're here for them, and maybe a way that, I don't know, it's tough. If that were to happen to me, I think for my children, I just, I wouldn't know a way forward, as a student. And I don't, it's as bad as cyberbullying, it's worse than cyberbullying, it's big and it's out there, and I don't even really know what I wanted, I just wanna toss it out there, so somehow we can let these kids know it's out there, and how to deal with it.
So I think what I hear you asking is what we're doing about it. So that you are informed as a parent and as a board member. What precautions we're taking currently and how we're teaching our kids about this currently. Is that what
Yes.
I'm hearing? Okay.
That's a better precise way to put it, but. Yeah, I mean, the best thing I know to tell my daughter is, I hate to say, suck it up and just let people know it's not you, but that's not gonna be good enough.
Pretty rough.
I mean, understandably, it's a serious concept, right, if it occurs, but I'm curious, would we be advocating or would we be looking for a shift to disciplinary processes in general? I mean, obviously it falls.
I would definitely want that to be some serious consequences for kids who are doing.
I'd have to assume it would be, right? I mean, I would assume sharing pornography in school would be pretty serious, regardless of whether or not we were AI generating our peers, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, I don't think the fundamentals change. Sexual harassment, no matter the tools that are used. And pornography is pornography, no matter how it was created or generated. So there are current policy, obviously policies against it. But it would fall within the discipline, and probably in this case, like the Zurich case, falls within the law enforcement jurisdiction, so the FBI and local police would be the ones handling that investigation. That would be, that part would be out of our control. But it's bad, it's terrible.
Yeah.
But it would be this, it's not anything, just because it's AI doesn't, it makes it easier, I guess, in some ways to create it and fake it for people. That's the new part of it, but the other part of it's already been around for my whole career.
Yeah,
So
just wanna make it better for them. I hate for
I,
for them not to even realize it's out there.
it's terrible.
And it could happen to you, you know.
Of course, if you spend too much time talking about it, you might be encouraging the very behavior you're looking to
Especially if
discourage.
they're-
Yeah, I can't worry about that. I would worry more about, making sure that someone's informed. I get that there's a downside to informing people about certain things, but. We already do some of these errands laws and some of these other things, but informative things that we let them know that's out there, and I don't think we're letting them know that's out there. One man's opinion.
Good to keep people informed, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, again, want to add anything, just let us know. Dr. Lynn, your report, please.
One thing that, we have been discussing as a group and just want to inform the board of is Camp Timberlea. I have, some additional information that I'll share with the board coming up so that you can look at the details. We've done a little bit of investigation and discussing. Should we move from a 3-day experience to a 2-day experience? So the kids are overnight, one night versus the 2 nights. There's some challenges that have been arising and increasing with a 2-night program. Other school districts are going to a 1-night experience. So that would be a big shift and change for us. And some people are gonna not be happy about it and some people will be thrilled. So we've been investigating that. We looked into it, we've surveyed the kids, we've had a lot of conversations with teachers. I just want the board to be aware that we are having that internal discussion, and that could be a change that I may bring as a recommendation to the board in either the next meeting or the one after.
So you guys haven't made a decision yet, you're still trying to figure out.
We haven't finalized it, but I want the board to know that this is being discussed and it's an option on the table. So the idea is, first of all, we're getting some feedback from parents about the expense of it, especially if they had a 6th grader and an 8th grader in the same year. Paying for Springfield and Timberlea at the same time is expensive. The savings, though, we talked to Timberlea about what the difference in cost would be. It's not gonna be that much difference in cost. It's 2 meals different and 1 activity, so it would be about $40 savings, not massive.
Are you finding that there's families, due to cultural reasons that don't let their children go? Yeah.
Cultural,
Would 1 night make a difference in a lot of those reasons?
I don't know.
I gotta tell you, sending 2 kids to Timberlea and having chaperoned it a couple times, I'm disappointed we're not trying to expand it to 3 nights. As opposed to constricting.
There are some people that say that too. We got
It's
that
such
on
a
the survey.
fantastic program, that gets kids together, especially new to the middle school. On such an early, you're transitioning from the elementary school, and I thought it was fantastic, both for my kids and being there as a chaperone.
As a counterpoint, I'm sure there's some families or kids who already that's a lot for them, and 3 days would probably be even more, right?
I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the point, is we were getting that comment back from even from the kids. I wish it was longer from a few kids. But we're seeing a lot of kids struggle with that second night. For some of our kids, it's the first time they've ever been away from home at all. They've never stay overnight at grandma's house even, or and uncle's house. It's a lot for some kids. I think another factor that personally is a little disappointing to me, but it's the reality. And that's youth sports are just demanding more and more of our kids' time, and there were a handful of kids this last year and the year before who stayed home because they didn't want to miss their soccer game.
But that's a choice they make.
It's a choice.
I agree.
I don't like it because it's big. Because I think Timberley is important. I think it's.
Where
huge.
did this start? Like, what brought this up? Like,
Multiple factors.
I mean, it is costly.
It
Not-
doesn't
not all
say that.
families are-
$40.
Yeah, but I mean, just overall, the program itself is costly.
And
Right.
nobody knew what the cost savings would be when they raised the issue in the first place, right? I think the
That's why I'm
fire-
asking where
Yeah.
it started,
Right.
like, where did this conversation, somebody had to bring it up, I'm
Yep.
just
It
curious.
started because there's more kids staying back, there's. More costly. There's, honestly, some concern from teachers. The teachers are split on this one. There are some teachers that really don't want to be away from home for 2 nights. It's a lot, it's tiring, they're exhausted. When they don't get sleep for 2 nights in a row, and some of us are not as young as we used to be. It's harder. So honestly, that's a portion of it, but it's not the only conversation started, and that's not how it began.
Teachers aren't assigned to do that, are they? They
Yeah.
volunteer to do that, right?
Well, somebody's gotta go.
So they are assigned.
And 6th grade teachers, part,
Someone's got to step forward or a bunch of people have to step back. Is that how this?
no. It's very important for the 6th grade teachers to go because this is their kids. I mean,
I see what you're saying.
this is that formational time in kids' life in 6th grade. Where they're transitioning from elementary to middle school and having their teachers do that with them, I think is very important.
How many kids do you think stay back each year?
10 this year, 15 the year before,
Out of,
130.
what do you do with those students that stay back?
They, one of the teachers stays back with them and provides
Instruction for the.
instruction.
Okay.
For the kids that show up, some stay home.
Do you have any families that their children go out for the day, but then they go pick them up at night, so they don't spend the night and then they drive back?
Only,
I don't think we all.
yeah, we would, but only for if there's a really big need, like a medical. We've had that. With students who are medically fragile. There are kids who end up going home.
Every year.
Sometimes. Sometimes that's an administrative choice.
I would not be on the side of 10 kids staying back. So 120 kids can't do it.
Oh, we're not saying not do it, we're saying,
Can't do 2 nights.
yeah,
So they can't.
cut the second. So we'd leave at the same time and get back in the evening instead of noon on Friday, it'd be 5:30 PM on Thursday.
And you said overall though, it would shave 1 activity and 2 meals? Is that what they'd be losing?
I did a lot of camping as a kid and having the second night just as then you're there for the whole day is otherwise you're not there for a day, you're there for 2 half days.
Right.
essentially. That's my opinion. I've never done Timberley. I haven't had kids who done Timberley, but I have gone
Soon.
on camping. So.
Yeah, you do, you get that full day, then waking up in the morning and then spending the whole night there. You won't get that before.
So those, I just wanted, so there's no surprises. I've compiled some information.
Thank you.
I appreciate your feedback.
Any other anything else to report on?
That's it.
All right. Ms. Kraft.
Just a couple quick updates. So, just to reiterate what Fred said earlier, we have, a fund balance that we have interest accruing every year, and according to state code, we can transfer interest from some funds to the fund most in need. So at the first board meeting in May, we'll go over the estimated interest earned in funds 30 and 70. So working cash and the bond fund, we're going to transfer it to the fund most in need, and then ask for board approval on the 18th. The budget amendment will review on the 11th, and we got the property extension amount back in March. So if you recall, with the tax levy, which is what we ask of taxpayers in December, we get the actual amount that we're going to get from the county in the form of an extension. That amount is communicated to us in March. Our ask in the levy was $14,868,054, and the extension is $14,726,640. So pretty close. That is it.
Thank you. Any board reports? A few notes, make sure you do, your county. By May 1st, you have to say, you know, if you have interest in businesses, so that's coming up due, you will be personally assessed a fine if you don't do that. And then on May 6th is the staff appreciation banquet at the middle school. I've gone the past, 2 years, 3 years, 2 years, I can't remember. Maybe 3. But it's a good time to be there. Staff thanks me a lot when I go. I'm just sitting here, not doing much, but you're welcome. You're the ones doing the real work, so. It's nice to see people, so if you can, I strongly encourage you to make it. And we will now adjourn for closed session for the purpose of employment compensation. Sorry. Get me service in here. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, no worries, that should. For the purpose of the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, specific individuals who serve as independent contractors in the park, recreational, or educational setting, or specific volunteers to the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee, a specific individual who serves as an independent contractor in a park, recreational, or educational setting, or a volunteer of the public body, or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity. However, we need to consider an increase in compensation to a specific employee of a public body that is subject to the Local Government Wage Increase Transparency Act may not be closed and shall be open to the public and posted and held in accordance with this act 5 ILCS 120/2C1. Is there a motion to do so?
Motion to move to closed session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Sulu, will you please call the roll?
Jennifer Glickly.
Thank you, Epic.
Thank you, yes.
Snuck out.
Or yes or no, do you want to go into closed session?
Oh, yeah, yes, we'll do it.
Chris Hamilton.
Yes.
Here, Jillian Phelps. Yes. John Reynolds,
Yes.
Fred Stepford,
Yes.
and Lisa Worcester. Yes.
All right, we will now go into closed session. We will not be taking any action afterwards. Thank you for our visitors. Come on.
Everybody.
Take care.